All right, welcome back to another video. Here we got Brian and Tom and the anonymous dude behind the camera here, and we had to start this video off with a great big "we told you so."
Ain't we been telling you?
We did.
10 damn years we've been telling you.
You know, if we tell people the housing market's going to have a problem, we say it every single year, eventually we'll be right. And we were right this time.
We were.
We were right this time, and I don't think you're the only ones seeing this right now. I know I've certainly been seeing the housing market and thinking, you know what, something fishy is going on here. And I think the point of this video, why we wanted to make this, was to say it's about to go down. Like it's happening right now as we're publishing this video. So in order to lay a little groundwork for this, I wanted to ask first the question, what are you seeing right now that's making you feel like, yeah, something's about to happen here? What's fishy? What's happening?
Oh, Jason, you want that concise?
I want that concise.
All right, well, we can do it concisely.
500 words or less, Tom. Go.
Do I have to? It's so small, it's so few words. If you're looking for a house and you want to get a loan, and you want to go to the bank and say, hey, I'm average. Who wants to go to the bank and say, I'm average? I think only I would do that. But anyways, if you're going to a bank and you want to get a house and you're the average in Michigan, Brian and I live in Michigan, and you make $64,000 per year. That's the average. The average down payment across the whole United States is $34,000. And you went to the bank 3 years ago, you could afford almost a $500,000 house with the average household income. You go to the bank today and you want to get qualified for a loan, a little different. It's a little different, and it's actually a big problem because at today's market rates, like 8%, if you're trying to buy the house, you can only afford a whopping $182,000 house. And if you look on Zillow or Trulia, there's like nothing. There's nothing.
At least nothing you want to buy.
And that's, if you're looking for something fishy, that's a pretty big tell. I mean,
right.
that's, hey, there's a problem. And we talked about this problem. We covered it in the housing market video. We talked about it in our monthly stock purchase video. Somebody said, hey, what about this REIT? And we're like, no, not yet. And now we said in both those scenarios that, hey, this fall, it is now November of 2023, we're seeing what we talked about come to fruition. So the fishiness is just the fact that nobody can afford a home right now, and all the homes that are out there aren't selling. There are just tons of homes. You can look right now in your area. Now it can be different for each locality, but the general consensus right now is just that homes aren't selling. They're not affordable, and construction still isn't keeping up with demand. So everything is just, something's got to give. There's just too much pressure.
Yeah, and Tom, I know you and Brian, you spend a good amount of time paying attention to the market and especially homes and stuff. And I mean, you're always sending me links to random, look at this ridiculous home I found.
Yeah, my wife is really frustrated by that too.
At midnight, hey, they're cool homes. So you've been paying attention to it, and things are way different now than even just 6 months ago. Because you were saying 6 months ago, I mean, there was homes on the market, yes, but they seemed to be selling more quickly, etc. But you've mentioned in this past month, as of publishing this video, something different is happening. What are you seeing?
Right. If you go back 6 months to a year, which is really the time you should have sold your house, there's very little inventory. Housing prices were skyrocketed, and there's a bidding war for those because there's a lot of people buying at that time.
Rates were still low too.
Rates were relatively low, and that was really the golden age right now of selling your house. Now, if you look on Zillow, comparatively to last year, you're seeing a lot of red dots. I mean, there's a lot more inventory now than there was.
They're like bunnies. They keep breeding.
They're multiplying.
They're everywhere now.
But the problem that we're seeing is that the housing prices aren't keeping pace with the inventory that we're seeing. So they've gone down a little bit, but that big drop that everybody, all the YouTubers and everybody's saying there's a housing market crash coming, you're not seeing that at the moment.
All right, so we're seeing all of these things happening. What do you feel like, I think the big question on everyone's mind right now that I wanted to hear from you is, what do you feel like is going to happen next, and what should people be doing about it?
And you want that concisely.
Always.
Again, concisely.
The problem with the housing market is there's like 16 different levers that you can pull, and they all affect each other. So what do we see happening next? Now, if you go to YouTube, you go to the media, and you look at Barbara Corcoran, I think is her name, from Shark Tank. She's talking about the housing prices. They're never going to be this low. Well, eventually she'll be right, because the Fed's job is to do inflation. You talk to other people, Graham Stephan, looking at you, you get 1 month he's positive, 1 month he's negative. Why is there so much a disparity in all of the different voices? Well, because there are 16 different levers, and they all get pulled and they all affect this. Now, we're not going to get into all of them, but there's a couple things that you should look for, like right away. The Fed's interest rates. That'd be the first thing I would look for.
Huge lever. Not the only lever, but a huge lever.
That's a big lever. When they start lowering rates, that will affect housing affordability. So your $182,000 garage, basically, becomes a lot more affordable for something a little bit nicer.
But it doesn't only just affect that. It also affects business loans and
Yes.
and jobs and marketing and how you're going to keep your job. If rates are high, businesses can't afford you, people get laid off, right?
Yeah, a lot of the adjustable rate mortgages that started in 2020 are coming due for renewal right now. And back then it was like 2%. Right now it's 8%. So that's a big problem. In addition to that, all the foreclosures that were put on a moratorium when COVID happened, those are all now being processed. So foreclosures will start hitting the market. So what you really want to look at, the second thing you want to pay attention to, is the housing inventory. Now, what that is, in a concise way, is however many homes are on the market right now based on how long it would take to sell those homes if no other homes were listed. So if you have 6 months of inventory, that basically means that somebody, if everybody went out and bought those homes, no other homes were listed, it would take 6 months to get to the very last house. And who would buy that house?
I don't know. But Zillow has that. If you go to Zillow, you can find that measure on their site.
You could just say, I'm the last one. I got the last one.
I got the last house. I win.
So demographically, you want to look at federal interest rates. You want to look at the housing inventory. And then some of the other things that you could look at, and this is getting into the weeds a little bit, you could look at probate. You could look at foreclosures. One of the more simple metrics of this is to look at price reductions. And that's happening right now all over the place, especially at the high end. Because who wants to spend $10,000 a month on a mortgage?
Right. It's just starting to happen. So you're not seeing a $500,000 house being sold for $200,000. That's not happening. You're more likely going to see that $500,000 house go down to $475,000.
And all the other levers aside, because there's a lot of levers. If we take just those things, that's a pretty good indicator of, hey, this is what we see next. Now, what we see next is probably not as apocalyptic, I got to mention that at least once, as people might think, because the levers this time are not, they're not all the way down to the floor. We do have...
it's not 2008.
Yeah, we do have the Fed saying that we think they're done. The market, what's up with you people buying stocks? Everybody's super positive, and it hasn't even
They paused.
Just all they did was pause.
They're on a pause.
They didn't say they were going to decrease it or anything.
They're on a break.
We were on a break!
So just wait. Be patient. It'll be okay. Just like the housing market. Just wait. It'll be all right. If you can afford to wait, please do. Don't buy right now, because all of the stuff that's churning right now, there's a lot of stuff churning, is going to affect these prices. And we think favorably, at least for the short term, for somebody who's looking at buying a house. So if you want to buy, just like a car in probably 6 months, might be a really good time to buy. But right now, go to Zillow, go to Trulia, take a look and just see how many homes are out there, and then pay attention to the price reductions, the housing inventory, and wait for the Fed to say, we're done, we're going to lower rates, but they probably will never be that direct with anybody.
Right.
But just wait till they look a little bit more positive about the fight with inflation.
Yeah. These are the easiest major things to look at.
All right. Awesome. I really feel like the next question is really how will we know when is a better time to buy a home? What kinds of things will I be seeing when it's getting time to buy a home? And I think that's something that would be a great topic for a future video. So if you haven't yet already and you're watching this, we'd love if you'd subscribe. Stay tuned on that, and we'll see you in the next video.
A garage for $16 million at 8%, which is what, like $50,000 a month or something in payments.
Chump change.
Chump change. Yeah, anybody can buy that. Holy, what do you do for a living?
I do YouTube. I make zero money at it.
Got like an OnlyFans page or something?
God, I wish. I would have a fan.
You have one fan.